Muy buenos días a todos. Les saluda Juan José. Yo soy representante de Guatefuturo, que a ustedes pues los tenemos aquí en el radar, que les invitamos a una actividad que tenemos en conjunto con la Universidad de Lund de Suecia. Entonces, para nosotros es una alegría muy grande porque usualmente las universidades de suecas son relativamente nuevas para nosotros y la oferta académica pues es muy buena. Adicional a ello, pues dar a conocer el convenio que se tiene entre Guatefuturo y la Universidad de Lund y también el programa de crédito beca para apoyar la financiación de los estudios en esta universidad. El seminario lo vamos a desarrollar en inglés, pero siéntanse ustedes en libertad. Yo aquí voy a estar conectado de alguna duda, alguna ampliación que ustedes necesiten, con todo gusto. La idea es escucharlos a ustedes y sus inquietudes sobre esta universidad. Voy a cambiar ahora al inglés. So, welcome everybody. We're gonna present here the academic offer of the University of Lund of Sweden. We are very happy to share the activity with Maria Lindblad, the representative of the university, who is going to share all the opportunities and the excellent programs that they have. On the side of Guatefuturo, we are going to speak a little bit about the Lund Scholarship Program and the agreement that we just signed with this prestigious university. Also, Maria, if the participants have some questions, they can share it in Spanish if they want. We're gonna kind of manage kind of bilingual support if needed, because the important issue is that everybody understands very well the excellent opportunities that Lund has to offer. So the time is yours. I'm going to stop sharing here so you can share your presentation.
Yes. Okay, great. Hello, everyone, and thank you for inviting me here to this webinar today. My name is Maria Lindblad, and I work at Lund University as an international marketing manager. As we already said, I will be speaking in English today. I do understand some Spanish, so hopefully we'll be able to answer questions directly as well, but with the help of translation here from Juan Jose, I'm sure we will work it out if you have any questions. But hopefully it's a good chance for you to also test your English today, since our studies are also in English, of course. So I'm going to share my screen and share a presentation with you today, just to give you an overview of the university and what we have to offer for international students. And I should mention also that I work specifically with students from all over Latin America. So if you do end up applying to Lund University, I would be your contact for that entire process as well. So any questions related to that, I'm happy to answer as well. Just if somebody can verify here that you can see my screen, just so we know that everybody.
Yes, Maria. Yeah? Yes,
perfect. Then we'll get started and talk a little bit about Lund University and Sweden. First, I would like to zoom in here on the region itself, so that everybody knows where we are and what area we're talking about. So Lund University is in the southern part of Sweden, and we are in Scandinavia, in Northern Europe. And you see the circle here on the map, which is the southern tip of Sweden, and it also includes a part of our neighboring country, Denmark. And this region where we are located is actually called Greater Copenhagen. So Copenhagen is, of course, the capital of Denmark, but it's actually the largest big city to where Lund University is located as well. And this is a very dynamic region. There's a lot of innovation and research and studies happening in this area. It's one of the most dynamic areas, one of the most fastest growing regions. And as you can see in the numbers here, there's around 4 million people living in this area, 14,000 researchers, and almost 200,000 students, and several research parks, science parks, and other research facilities and universities as well. Lund University is located in this region. It's about 40 minutes by train from Copenhagen. So that is where the main airport is also that students come to. They fly into Copenhagen and they hop on the train to Lund. And Lund is also 10 minutes by train from Malmö, which is the third largest city in Sweden. And that is also in the circled region here, just so you get a full picture of where we are. A little bit about the university. These numbers are actually from about a year ago, so they're slightly different now, but it's roughly the same. The university is one of the oldest ones, one of the oldest and broadest in Northern Europe and in Scandinavia. We were founded in 1666, so we've been around for more than 350 years. We have over 40,000 students in total and over 8,000 staff members. And we have a very wide selection of education and research spread across 9 different faculties. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. And we have in total around 270 study programs. And this is for a bachelor and master studies that total to 270. Lund University is consistently ranked as one of the top universities, one of the top 100 in the world in the main university rankings, such as QS and Times Higher Education. And we are also the most popular choice in Sweden for international students who come to study in Sweden. Most of them do come to Lund University. We are a very international university. That is usually something that international students would like to know, like, are there other students like me on your campus? And the answer is yes, absolutely. Around 60% actually of all of our master students are international students, and around 40% of the PhD students are international students. At the undergraduate level, it's fewer because most of those are taught only in Swedish, but at master's level and PhD level, the education is all in English. So there we have a lot more international students. And I should also say that we have around 130 different nationalities on campus. So it's really spread from all over the world. It's not just a high percentage of international students, but also a very wide spread of international students from every country almost. Excuse me. I mentioned before that we have a wide range of studies. So we actually have one of the widest ranges in Scandinavia. And this is, of course, because the university is very old and a lot of these education offers have grown over time. We have a very strong focus on research, so it is very much a research university. We have, even though we have 40,000 students, 2/3 of our budget actually goes into research. So research is the main focus. And then as we have a wide collaboration between the faculties, they have maybe been working on research projects together for many years between different faculties, and then they realize, oh, maybe we can start a master's program in this subject. So we also have a lot of programs that are interdisciplinary, and they have grown out of our research. So rather than just introducing a program because it's a commercial program that all universities have, we have also a lot of very unique programs because they come from our research and what we are specialists on. So there we have standard programs, but we also have a very large range of unique programs that we offer, and interdisciplinary programs as well. We have, like I said, we have a strong focus on research. So we do have a very broad research environment as well. We have over 30 world leading research facilities or research areas connected to the university. and it is the main focus of the university. And this goes within all of our faculties. So we do heavy research in sciences, but in medicine, but also in the social sciences, humanities, law, and so on. So all of our departments and faculties work on both research and education, and all of the students are heavily involved in the research. And all of the master's programs make you eligible to continue on, for example, if you want to do a PhD as well. So if you want to dig in even more to the research. And when it comes to our education offers, we have around 130 international master's programs. And when I say international, I mean that they are fully taught in English and they are open for international applicants from all over the world. And like I said before, many of these master's programs are completely unique. So you won't find exactly the same program anywhere else. And just to go through a little bit of the structure of the master's programs, they are offered throughout the different faculties. So we have master's programs in all areas, ranging again from fine arts to engineering, to medicine, to law, to social sciences, to business. So we have across all of our faculties, we offer some master's programs. Most of these programs are 2 years. But we do have some more management focused programs that are just 1 year. The master's programs are course based, and they end all with a thesis or degree project. So we don't have a distinction between research programs and course programs. They are kind of integrated. So you do course based, but you are also very closely connected to the research, and you have to do your own research project at the end. Many of our programs also allow for you to do an internship, usually in the 3rd semester, or for example, study abroad at one of our 600 partner universities, or choose elective courses if you want to specialize in a particular field within the framework of your program. So most of the programs have some flexibility there in how you structure them. And as I already mentioned, if you are into research and you want to continue to a PhD, there are plenty of opportunities to do that after any of the masters. But we also have very good industry collaboration. So for those of you who are more interested in getting a job outside of the university, outside of the academics, there are many possibilities to do that as well, and to connect with companies throughout the studies, for example, through guest lectures coming in, or doing an internship at a company, or writing your thesis together with a company. So there are many opportunities to interact also with the ongoing activities happening in the industry that is related to your program. If you want to get an overview of all of our programs, obviously I couldn't list all 130 masters here on the slide because it's too many, but you can go to the link here, lunduniversity.lu.se/programs, and there you can see all of our programs. And I know that most of you will already have your undergraduate, so that's why I'm focusing on master's studies today. And when it comes to PhD, there's not a list of the PhD programs as such, because in Sweden, doing your PhD is more of a job. So once you have finished, or you're about to finish your master's, you can apply for PhD positions. So they are announced more like job positions at the department. So it's a different structure. It's not a list of programs as such, but all of our departments and all of our faculties offer PhD studies as well. So I just wanted to mention that. But back to the masters, where we do have a structured program and a structured process. So if you're interested in applying to any of the master's programs that you find there on our long list, you actually do that on a national portal. So we have a national system in Sweden. So all of the applications to any university and any program in all of Sweden happens on the same website. So you don't apply directly to Lund University, but you apply through this national portal. And that portal is called universityadmissions.se. So this is where you can go and find the program and do your application online. The main international application round is open from mid-October to mid-January. So that is when you do your online application to start your studies in the following autumn in the following August. So you need to, it's quite an early time frame. Many students miss it. Maybe they contact us in February and say, oh, I want to start in August, but it's already too late. So you have to apply before mid-January to start in August. Want to mention also the costs, because I know that, of course, many of you will have those questions. What does it cost? How much is the tuition fee? What does it cost to live in Sweden? So I wanted to talk a little bit about that. It's not a specific tuition fee for the university as such. It actually varies depending on the specific program that you choose. And this is because our programs are, or the fees for our programs are set depending on the actual cost. We are public authorities and we are nonprofit, so the universities do not charge any extra fees to make a profit. We only charge the fees to cover the cost of the education. And of course, it's different if you do a design program where the students need a whole studio versus a humanities program where you only have a few lectures, for example. So the costs are different for different programs depending on the actual cost of the education. But basically, they vary roughly between around $12,000 per year up to around $24,000 per year, again, depending on the type of program. But most programs fall in the range $14,000 to $18,000 per year. And the cost is set in the Swedish currency. So this is just to give you a rough idea, because I don't know if you're familiar with the Swedish currency. So I chose to write it in US dollars instead, because most people know the exchange rate for that. And when it comes to living costs, we recommend having around $1,000 per month for your living costs. And this is to cover food, accommodation, books, traveling, any cost you might have as a student. Of course, this is up to you. Some students use less because they cook their own food, or they borrow books at the library instead of buying books, and so on. So there are different ways to adjust your spending, but this is what we recommend that you have as a budget for your studies. And to help students to cover some of this, that is actually what we are talking about today, of course, in this webinar with the funding options. But we also have our own scholarship program called the Lund University Global Scholarship. And this is a merit-based and selective scholarship, but all international students can apply for it. And if they are selected, it can cover a part of or up to almost the full tuition fee. It depends a little bit. It's up to each program a little bit how they want to divide the scholarships. And this is in addition to again, what we're talking about today with the funding through Guatefuturo and Guatefuturo, which we now are very happy to have collaborations with. And I'm not going to get into this because I know that that will be covered, but I just wanted to mention that with these agreements regarding the funding, up to 3 students per country, Guatemala and Honduras, will receive a 25% of the global scholarship from Lund University if they are selected for the funding and admitted to one of our programs. And the scholarships are deducted from the tuition fees. And it also includes the insurance for the student, and the students will also have a housing guarantee when they come to live in Lund with us. But again, this is something that I'm sure Juan Jose is going to talk more about as well. Just wanted to mention it here quickly. So that was about it in terms of my general presentation about Lund and our studies, just to give you a very short overview. If you want to learn more, please go to our website, lunduniversity.lu.se, where you can find all of our programs, the entry requirements, all the different subjects we offer, more information on how to apply, more information about the city of Lund and Sweden, and student life. We're also very famous for our student life, which is also quite unique at Lund, being such an old university. So there's plenty more to explore, but I think I will end there so I don't take too much time here. But you're very welcome to ask me any questions, and I'll be happy to answer that as well.
Perfect,
Okay.
Maria.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So I will enter into the part of Guatefuturo, but before I start, if there is some question, please don't be afraid to talk loud. That's the idea of the university and all of this, right? So, ¿alguna pregunta o algún comentario, algo que ustedes quisieran saber? Con todo gusto, con todo gusto. For instance, Maria, here we have a question. Juan is asking if it is difficult to find an accommodation.
Yeah, that's a good question, and the answer is yes, but not for international students, because they will actually have a housing guarantee. So Lund University offers housing, but unfortunately, because of the regulations in Sweden, we cannot have enough housing for all of our students, because as I mentioned in the beginning, we have 40,000 students, and Lund is quite a small town. So it is very difficult for us to have housing for 40,000 students. So therefore, we have made different priorities. And international students, because they're coming from far away, and it's hard for them to look for housing actively in Sweden before arriving, we actually have a housing guarantee for international students. So they simply need to apply during the allocated time application period for housing, and then they are guaranteed to receive an offer of housing from us. They can also select different options that they prefer. We cannot guarantee a specific type of housing or a specific housing area, but we do guarantee that they get an offer. Students that are not international, meaning students who are either Swedish or European, they do not have a housing guarantee. So they have to find housing on their own. And of course, we help with resources. We have links, we have different websites where they can apply, and we have tips where students can stay. We also have student organizations that have their own housing, a student union that have their own housing service, helping students to find housing. So there are plenty of resources, but they do have to be very active when searching for housing. But again, international students have the benefit of a housing guarantee. So for you, it would not be difficult.
Perfect. So let's move on in the part of Guatefuturo. I'm gonna give a very brief presentation, just maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and we can continue the conversation. For the people that just entered the room, we just finished the part where the information of the university was presented, but we will retake the conversation a little bit later in a minute, so you can get involved in your questions with Maria, the representative of Lund. So I'm going to share first a video of one of our beneficiaries that is a student. She is a student right now in Lund. So just let me know if is working well the video. Can you see well?
Yeah,
Yep.
yes, we can see it.
Okay. So her name is Stephanie Moscoso, and she's doing the master in something related to entrepreneurial disciplines. Let's see.
We cannot hear it though.
Oh, can't hear that. Okay.
No, I don't hear anything.
Okay. I'm gonna I'm going to share the link so you can see because I have some issues with this. So I'm going to share in the chat the link so you can check what the experience of the student is in Lund. So let's move very quickly to the information of Guatefuturo. I'm going to give this part in Spanish. La convocatoria como tal la tenemos abierta actualmente y la tenemos abierta hasta el 29 de abril para los que tengan iniciado algún proceso de aplicación o que estén ya en contacto con la Universidad de Lund. Pero entendemos que la mayor parte está entrando en contacto y de repente la convocatoria sea más adelante para ustedes. Pero si alguno está activo en el proceso de selección de Lund, la convocatoria está abierta. Nosotros somos una fundación donde tenemos fondos privados y también públicos para hacer un esfuerzo de país por el desarrollo de Guatemala. Entonces, interesa mucho que los que participen con Guatefuturo van a la Universidad de Lund y tengan el interés de regresar a Guatemala cuando se financian con el crédito beca con nosotros. ¿Cómo funciona Guatefuturo? Las dudas que dan, ¿verdad? ¿Cómo opera? ¿Cuáles son las reglas? Etcétera, etcétera. Lo pueden ver perfectamente en el sitio web guatefuturo.org. Lo tenemos bastante organizado. Entonces la consulta es rápida, es eficiente y pueden resolver mucho de las dudas generales. Entonces, como les mencioné al inicio, y es probablemente la idea principal que les quisiera compartir de Guatefuturo y que ustedes se la queden, es que para nosotros el beneficiario realiza un viaje de ida y de vuelta cuando se financia con Guatefuturo. Entonces, es el interés de estudiar su posgrado, su maestría, su doctorado también, ¿verdad? Con la Universidad de Lund, pero que deseen regresar al país y desarrollarse en el país. Entonces, esta es la visión principal de Guatemala. Nosotros pues les acompañamos a lo largo de todo el proceso. No voy a ir a los detalles de acá, de este círculo, pero es nuestro círculo virtuoso de la excelencia, le llamamos nosotros. Y nosotros les acompañamos desde que tienen esta idea y esta inquietud de irse al exterior a estudiar y hasta que realizan y concretan la meta de esta experiencia de estudios. Podemos decir que nosotros estamos hoy en la etapa 1, ¿verdad? Es decir, tienen la inquietud, tienen el deseo, el anhelo de ir a estudiar fuera. ¿Y por qué no ir a estudiar a Suecia? Vaya. Entonces nosotros estamos acá acompañando desde el primer momento. El calendario como tal de la convocatoria, como les decía, inició el 1 de febrero, termina el 29 de abril y estamos dando resultados en el primer domingo de julio para iniciar estudios en agosto y septiembre, que como nos comentó María, va en línea con el inicio en el semestre de otoño, pues, ¿verdad? Que es lo que se acostumbra en el calendario con Lund. ¿Qué es la financiación con Guatefuturo? Son $25,000 los que se pueden solicitar por año y se pueden solicitar hasta por 2 años. Es decir, una financiación de $50,000 es el máximo. Sujeto a que se retorne al país, que tiene una opción del 50% de la beca sobre el dinero desembolsado y hay una opción de un 10% adicional para los que se desarrollen actividades de docencia o algún emprendimiento en el interior del país, actividades que están señaladas para este 10%, les quiero decir, pueden también optar a esta opción adicional. El 50% son todas las áreas de conocimiento, pero es importante recalcar que es 25% de beca, es un porcentaje menor para los que van a estudiar algo relacionado a business o administración. Las características del crédito beca, pues vaya, no hay pagos durante el tiempo de estudios, hay un año de gracia donde no se realizan amortizaciones del crédito beca y se puede utilizar este año de gracia en el exterior ustedes pueden realizar una práctica profesional en Lund de 1 año posterior a su maestría, lo cual es algo muy atractivo para muchos. Estos son los 2 documentos que nosotros damos de referencia básica, digamos, para entender el sistema con nosotros, el reglamento como tal del crédito beca y el instructivo de convocatoria, que es donde se desarrolla cómo se compone el expediente. Estos son los requisitos de aplicación como tal, futuro. Se financia, pues para guatemaltecos. Eh, se requiere que tengan el título de licenciatura, estar admitido por la universidad, es decir, estar admitido por Lund. El programa debe durar al menos 1 año. Los programas son presenciales y de tiempo completo. Creo que esto aborda un poquito una pregunta que estaba en el chat. Entonces, se requiere que la prioridad sean los estudios. Alguna opción puede haber de algún trabajo de la universidad, alguna asistencia, perfecto, pero la prioridad es el estudio y ustedes son full-time students con Guatefuturo. Y demostrar, por supuesto, el dominio del idioma inglés. Ya María nos compartió que pues, es inglés, entonces significa demostrar el TOEFL y seguir con la aplicación acorde a lo solicitado en el sistema. El proceso de selección rápidamente se basa en los méritos académicos del candidato, del programa, de la universidad. Ustedes al buscar a Lund, ustedes van a darse cuenta que destaca en los rankings y en las mediciones independientes de las universidades. Entonces, es un buen paso, por ejemplo, ya a estar aplicando a una universidad de prestigio, como es el caso de la Universidad de Lund. Y luego también se evalúa el background profesional de ustedes, su proyección de liderazgo, sus metas, y este tipo de variables. Es una única convocatoria anual, es un proceso objetivo, se evalúa por equipos de especialistas en cada área y al final el consejo directivo valida el proceso. Nuevamente, aquí están los criterios que básicamente es sobre meritocracia, la calidad del candidato y de la universidad, lo que fundamenta el proceso de Guatefuturo. Una curiosidad y muy importante, porque es una garantía del proceso, no se conocen nombres en Guatefuturo. A cada uno de ustedes se les asigna un código y es el código, digamos, de alguna forma, lo que se conoce únicamente para evitar cualquier sesgo o cualquier influencia en el proceso. Es decir, que sea su expediente el que hable. Y aquí tenemos lo que María nos adelantó, el convenio con la Universidad de Lund, que tiene un 25% de descuento del costo de matrícula para las maestrías de tiempo completo, para 3 candidatos por generación del crédito beca que participen. Entonces, hasta aquí la presentación. Quiero vamos a luchar una vez más con el, con el video. I'm gonna try a little bit more with the video, Maria. Let me check if this works now.
Perfect.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Mi nombre es Stephanie Moscoso y
Can you hear?
actualmente me encuentro estudiando
Yes.
un máster en emprendimiento e innovación en Lund, Suecia. Haber tomado la decisión de estudiar fuera de mi país de la mano de Guatefuturo ha sido una de las mejores decisiones que he tomado en mi vida, ya que esto me ha permitido estar en contacto con otro sistema educativo y también poder vivir la vida de un emprendedor con todos sus retos e incertidumbres. Algo de lo que más me ha gustado de esta experiencia ha sido poder conocer a personas de todo el mundo. Por ejemplo, en mi máster actualmente somos más de 25 nacionalidades. Otra de las cosas que me ha encantado es el pueblo de Lund, que es un pueblo precioso al sur de Suecia. Y vivir acá me ha permitido fácilmente conocer otras ciudades importantes del sur de Suecia. Y también viajar a Dinamarca, ya que está a 40 minutos en tren. Ser parte de la Universidad de Lund me ha permitido también pues estar en contacto con otras asociaciones estudiantiles, ser parte de ellas e ir a diferentes eventos que organizan casi cada semana. Si tú quieres vivir experiencias como la mía, te invito a que conozcas Guatefuturo y que apliques, ya que la convocatoria está abierta.
Great.
Muy bien. Creo que estamos allí ya con la vista. Solamente les voy a compartir nuestro último slide, donde está la información de contacto de Guatefuturo. Estamos a disposición en redes sociales, en el correo soyguatefuturo@guatefuturo.org. Nos pueden llamar en el 2261-7560 y pueden ver los testimoniales, el de Stephanie y también el de otro beneficiario, que es el que sigue aquí, el de Sergio, que no lo logramos ahorita colocar por tiempo, pero lo pueden ver en el canal de YouTube a estos dos beneficiarios que tenemos actualmente en la Universidad de Lund. Es decir, hay experiencias allí que respaldan lo que es ya que un guatemalteco, un centroamericano, esté por estos países nórdicos. Perfecto. Si hay alguna pregunta, estamos abiertos ya para la conversación. Any question, please feel free to share via chat, or if you just open the micro and we can hear you in the session. Please go ahead. In the chat, Pablo is asking about the cost of the master program, Maria. I don't know if it's a standard cost, but yeah, something that you talk a little bit during your presentation.
Yeah, and it varies depending on the program, but basically it's a range between around $12,000 per year up to 24,000 for the most expensive programs per year. So it depends on the specific program and what kind of program it is, because as I mentioned in the presentation, our tuition fees are set to cover the actual cost of the program. So it depends on how much it costs for us to provide the education. But in somewhere around that range, most programs are between $14,000 to $18,000 per year. We have a few other questions here. I see as well, we had a question earlier there from Marlene as well, if you saw that.
Yes, the question was about the half-time job, and during the presentation we were talking a little bit about that we consider the students a full-time students. So I guess that this answers the question of Marlene. There could be some job, if we can call that in that way, but the priority has to be the studies, Marlene. So you are full-time student when financed by the loan scholarship with Guatefuturo.
Yeah, and it's the same for us. I can say also in general that students are full-time students. So our programs are full-time and they are expected to study full-time. Some students may be able to get like a small part-time job for doing something on the weekends or on holidays and so on. But the focus has to be the studies also for us. Yes.
Perfect. And one is asking that, is the application still open at the university?
No, the international round closed in January for new applications to the international programs. We do have a couple of programs that open in April for late applications, but it's only very few usually, and we don't really recommend international students, excuse me, to apply so late because they won't really have time to get to Sweden, because even if they manage to get an application through and they are accepted, the processing time for the residence permit and the other steps is too long, so they won't really have time to come. There is a local application round or a Swedish application round that is open now as well, but only a few of the international master's programs open in that round, and it's the same thing there. The results will be announced only in July, and it's too late to make it for this year for international students. So I would recommend waiting and applying in the next main round instead.
Okay, perfect. And is there any other question from the participants? In the meanwhile, I have a few questions. Maybe that these are common questions for Guatemalan students, for students from Central America. If we have some students from Honduras, so it applies. Which is like the most challenging, the most challenging side that you can share with us, Maria, when a student from Latin America, from Guatemala, from Honduras, is residing or is living in Sweden. Maybe the main difference that we can find, the way the people live, interact, the educational system.
Yeah, that's a good question. Of course, it varies a little bit depending on your expectations and how much the student is aware of the differences and how much they've traveled and so on. In general, I would say that students coming specifically from Latin America adjust very well in Sweden compared to students coming from some other countries who struggle more, because there are a lot of similarities also, and they are usually very social and quick to make new friends and to settle in. So
Yes.
I haven't seen that there have been students that struggle so much from Latin America. My experience is that they settle in very well and enjoy their experience a lot. But of course, there are differences, definitely. I think there are differences on many levels. In the terms of the education system, it's certainly different, not only from Latin America, but from all over the world. That people have different systems and different ways of studying. For example, in Sweden, we usually study only one subject at a time. In some programs, we might have two subjects, but most programs only have one. So you study one course, let's say for 10 weeks, you only focus on one subject. And then after those 10 weeks, you have one exam for only that subject. And then you move on to the next subject and the next course. And then you study that for 5 weeks or 7 weeks or 10 weeks or whatever. And then you have one exam only on that subject. Oh. So this is something that is quite unusual, because in many countries you might study 10 different courses at the same time, and then you have a midterm exam or a final exam, but it's not like that in Sweden. And you can also retake exams if you feel, I'm not ready, I didn't study enough, I want more time. You can retake the exam at another time. Of course, we don't recommend that, because you can easily fall behind and you might not be able to continue and finish on time. But there are opportunities like that that are sometimes a bit shocking for international students.
Oh, yes.
And another thing is, of course, the general environment in Sweden, depending on what you're used to and where exactly you live. But the climate, people are worried that it's going to be very cold. And yes, of course, in winter it does get cold, but we are in the south of Sweden, so it's a little bit warmer compared to the rest of the country. We also have quite dramatic changes with the light. We have a lot of sunshine, very long days in summer, and in the winter, very short days and a lot of darkness. So these are things you need to prepare and adjust and learn how to acclimatize yourself to these changes. So there are small things like that that's international students sometimes need some help with, adjusting to. And there can also be social interactions. Swedish people can generally be a little bit shy at first, so they take some more time to warm up. They're not perhaps as warm as some of you Latin Americans are used to. But on the other hand, once you get close to Swedish people, we become friends for life. Like, we're very loyal friends, and we stay very closely connected to the friends that we have. But those are some differences that we hear that students sometimes experience. But overall, I would say that students from Latin America adjust very well in Sweden and really tend to enjoy their time there a lot.
Perfect. Very, very good to hear that, Maria.
Yeah.
Very good. And so, is there any question around the room? Also, you can write it in the chat if you wish. So maybe just to summarize, we are in the right moment to planning ahead, so that we know that the admission process to the university will begin around October to January, something like that, right, Maria?
Yes.
Okay. So it's a very good time to get in touch with the university, to get the advice, to prepare a very good application process, to get all the documentation together, and for the university, and also you can get familiar with Guatefuturo, so we can hear from you from in the near future. So you have some closing remarks, Maria?
No, I think that was very good that you said that. This is a good time to prepare. We wish that all students were well prepared like that, and to start early to think about your options, and also think about things like English tests if you need to take a TOEFL test or an IELTS test, because unfortunately we see that many students apply in October when we open, or November, and they get everything ready, and then they realize that, oh, I need to take a TOEFL test, and then they can't book it until late, and then they don't get the result on time, or maybe they don't get the right score and they need to take it again, and then they miss the whole application round. So I think it's very good what you said there. This is a good time to prepare and check, do you have the documents you need? Are you prepared? Do you have the right level of English? Do you have are you ready to apply for funding and for everything? Do you have your options ready? So I think that's a really good advice. And if you have any questions for me, I'm always available. Like I said, I work specifically with applicants from Latin America, so I'm happy to help you to understand any, for example, application steps or entry requirements that might not be so easy to interpret. Or if you want general information about Lund, we have a lot of information on our social media, of course. On Instagram, we have student ambassadors taking over the Instagram account and showcasing what it's like, what life in Lund is like for them. We have a lot of information on Facebook and YouTube when it comes to video material, showing the city itself, showing our housing options, showing our processes on how to apply and all of that. So yeah, there's a lot of good information out there, and this is a good time to just get a general idea of what the options are and what the university is like. So
Perfect, Maria. So I guess that we reached the time for the session. So thank you everybody. We can continue in contact by email or by the social media, any channel you wish. And again, Maria, thank you so much for your time. And we hope we can hear about and people from Honduras, from Guatemala, just studying in in Sweden with Lund. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you so much to everybody. Bye-bye.